Hello there guys, it's LazyBeast here, and today I want to discuss one question. Will World of Warcraft ever recover? Now, it's safe to say that World of Warcraft and Blizzard as a company have been going through a little bit of a shitstorm, and still is, which has pretty much been brought on entirely by themselves, unfortunately. The latest expansion, Shadowlands, appeared to have a decent start, but then has just gone downhill from here, so people started to fall out of love with the systems. New systems were added on top of the existing ones at the start of the expansion, which usually happens, but this just led to the game feeling more job-like, especially if you try to maintain any ults. Some very questionable decisions and comments were made by Blizzard regarding systems like the domination sockets on the gear and the shards that fill those sockets, just being one example. That's just some in-game problems, and obviously as Blizzard as a whole, you've got the lawsuit coming out into the open, which really shook things up, as it should, which made many people just not want to play Blizzard games whatsoever and straight up just quitting World of Warcraft, which then also led to a large number of content creators with huge followings deciding to quit the game as well and quit making World of Warcraft content full stop. And now all this stuff combined has led to one massive hit all round to World of Warcraft as a game, and a huge blow to its community too. And for a game like World of Warcraft, you can pretty much argue quite safely that if the community falls apart, then the game will go with it as well. So anyway, let's take a step back and just look at World of Warcraft as a whole. So you can see that WoW's been on decline for quite a while, to the point where Blizzard actually stopped reporting on how many subscribers the game currently had, presumably because that number just kept on getting lower, and if people hear that a game's struggling, they're likely not going to want to come and join, so new players will be put off starting the game. If we believe the figures reported by ActivePlayer.io, now do take this with a grain of salt as we can't be 100% sure unless the figures come directly from Blizzard, but we do see a similar trend being reported by similar websites to this. So we can see that the average number of monthly players of Warcraft has been going steadily down, with increases as you can expect, presumably around patches, with a huge loss of monthly players in what has perhaps been World of Warcraft's worst month ever. So we can obviously take the lawsuit and the issues at the foundations of the company as a big reason why people don't want to play Blizzard games anymore as well, obviously including World of Warcraft. But in this video I do want to focus mainly on World of Warcraft, not Blizzard as a whole. So I'm going to bring up a couple of points that are going to make you think, will World of Warcraft ever recover, and, where does it go from here? And hopefully we can have some discussion about that in the comments below. So you've very likely seen people saying that they just don't want to play the game anymore for a variety of reasons, and the game's changed, the game isn't the same as it used to be, and you've probably seen people respond to this by saying the game hasn't changed, it's you that's changed. The game's been out for a long time, you've grown up, you likely started playing the game when you was a teenager or a kid even, and now you're an adult, you've got different responsibilities, and that's the reason why you either don't have time to enjoy the game anymore, or your shift in priorities has led to you realising, what's the point in me spending all this time making this virtual character better when I should be focusing on myself in real life. And people can argue that's why you no longer enjoy the game and you no longer want to play. And yes, that is true in some ways, everyone does change. If you have been playing the game from Vanilla or Burning Crusade, or even in the last just few expansions, because that's obviously 6 years worth of time, then yep, you will have changed in real life to some extent. But I do believe that you cannot deny that the game has also changed. You've got to remember that obviously the reason that World of Warcraft exists is because, yes, to provide entertainment to people, but also to make people money. The people that make the game, Blizzard the company, Activision, they need to make money from the game, so they will have taken all these statistics and data from the players of the game, and it's very likely that the target audience for the game has changed from, it may be the person you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago when you were playing the game, but that isn't you currently. Now, I'll just go ahead and use myself as an example. So back in the Burning Crusade times, I was a teenager, I had no other responsibilities other than school, so I could sink a crazy amount of hours into this game, and I definitely did. I was very addicted to the game back then. But now, as a nearly 30-year-old dad of 2 children with a full-time job and a house to look after, the type of gamer that I am today is much different from the gamer that I was back then, and this is likely true for many of you today. So yep, you can't deny that the players have changed, and we may have shifted ourselves just through natural progression of life out of the target audience of World of Warcraft. However, the game has definitely changed. Just look at the systems and the engagement that Blizzard wants you to have with these systems. So back in the Burning Crusade, for example, yeah, there were dailies and things, and obviously there was raiding, so you maybe did your raid each week and you did your PvP if that's what you was into, and you could get to a certain level of gear, a certain level of progression, and be sort of happy with it. You didn't need to do the dailies, you didn't feel like you needed to do the dailies, because if there were just rewards you wanted out there, then that's great, you go for it, but there was an end to it. You could get to a certain point and you could feel like your character was done, you know, you were happy with where you'd got to, and there wasn't this need or this feeling that you're missing out by not doing everything that was available for you to do in a given day. And yes, there were grinds, my god there were grinds, but what I'm saying is that they didn't feel pressurized grinds. Now take that and just look, for example, how many things you need to do right now in Shadowlands to get a new ult caught up and at a decent level of power just to be able to take part in any reasonably challenging endgame content, be that PvP or PvE. So first of all, you got to level to 60, which obviously isn't too bad. The leveling in World of Warcraft Shadowlands retail now is actually quite good, and you've got some options there, you know, different leveling routes, that's fine. But once you get to level 60, you've got to do your Covenant campaign, which can take a good few hours. You've then got to catch up on Renown, which can take a very varied amount of time depending on the type of player and the type of content that you do. You've then got to do Torghast to get your Soul Ash. Then you've got to buy a Legendary, which are very expensive, and they have remained very expensive for quite a long time. So then you've got the option, do I buy a token if I don't have time to, you know, farm out the gold for this? Then you've got to get your Legendary Power, which is a real kick in the dick because, well, it might not be, or it could be. It just depends on which one is best for your spec. So this may drop from Castle Nathria, for example, which isn't the current raid, so it might be very hard to get a group to go and do that. You may get a group and then not get the power, that's a possibility. Or it might drop from a world boss, so you might have to wait up to 3 weeks for that world boss to be back in the rotation. And then obviously you might not be able to play that week, so, you know, there you go, that's another issue you might run into. Or maybe you need to do the one from getting your Renown with your Covenant up to like Renown 45 or whatever it is where you unlock the power now. So then you've got to wait until then before you can even make your Legendary. Then you've got to do Corthia and all that sort of stuff if you're interested in getting sockets for your gear and all those good things. And then whilst you're doing all these things, you've got to obviously be thinking about your gear because you do need to start grinding either Mythic Plus rating or Raider IO score or PvP rating. But first you'll need to find a friend or two to play with if it's PvP, which can be incredibly hard with the group finder as it currently is. Or you've got to pug loads of like Mythic Plus, for example, if you've not got a guild, which can be completely hit and miss and you could have a very, very difficult time. So basically what I'm saying is an incredible amount of effort to put in just to be able to be moderately competitive at max level right now. Now if you're just playing one character or whatever, or if you enjoy doing all these different things, and that's absolutely fine, you're going to have a good time, you're going to crack on, there's no problem. This is just me giving an example of a whole bunch of systems that are in Shadowlands currently that basically make this game feel like a job. But there's deeper issues about the game and the developers that are just basically making people turn off this game, and probably a big reason why the subscriber numbers just keep on going down. So many times Blizzard just do not listen to the players when they give them really good feedback. There's always Reddit posts about things, some people even offer really good suggestions as to how things can be fixed, with examples such as botting in Classic. People literally say, Blizzard, hire me, or I'll just volunteer, just give me the power to sort out these bots and I will do it free of charge, but they don't want to know. There's issues though, including like the borrowed power systems that we seem to get every expansion now. For so long people have been saying like, we don't want these systems, they just feel like chores. Look at the Heart of Azeroth, for example. Artifact weapons were cool, you know, I did really like that, but then they took that and they tried to make it again like V2 with the Azerite armor, which just didn't hit the mark at all. So they keep on including these borrowed power systems, which then just get thrown out in the bin at the end of every expansion. Then we end up just on the next borrowed power system, which is currently the Covenants and all that stuff. And again, there's issues there with the Covenants. People feel stuck in one. They feel they have to play the one that's best for their spec. I mean, why would you want to play something that's subpar that you know you're basically hindering yourself? And then you can't even, in some cases, change specs without feeling like you've gimped yourself in a way. So people just don't want to play off specs. They'd rather play an ult. But then they make an ult and then they run into the issues that I've just mentioned with all that stuff that they need to do just to be able to compete, you know, moderately. And they just think, what's the point in this? I don't want to have to go through like 30 hours of gameplay just to be at a decent level, still in some shitty gear, you know, just to be able to play with my friends and not be a hindrance to them. Now it's pretty obvious that the aim behind all of these systems that we currently have in the game today seem like clear tactics just to keep engagement in the game high. You want you to be logging in every day, they want you to be putting that work in, they want you to be having fun, but a lot of the time it just isn't fun. So the game, basically, obviously, if you're logging in every day, it looks good to the investors. Like, look guys, Blizzard is saying to the investors, look guys, look at all these people logging in, they're loving the game, but when in reality they just want to get the dailies done, they're just doing stuff, they maybe just raid logging. It's not, the game isn't in a healthy state. Let's just be honest. Another big issue, obviously, which has been said time and time again, is the addition of the WoW token. Ever since it was mentioned and then implemented, it's left a sour taste in players' mouths. It takes away from the time and effort players put in to achieve certain things in game, whether that be, you know, like you can buy a boost in PvP, you can buy a carry through a raid. So it basically allows anyone to catch up, in inverted commas, and complete content that some people put hours of effort into achieving by simply just buying a boost or a carry with real life money. And you could say that this has been a way that Blizzard has tried to adapt to the changing gamer, because obviously I heard Asmongold say recently that us WoW players are just boomers, and to that extent it's true, you know, to some extent. So, you know, take myself again for an example. So back in the day I had the time to put into doing things like achieving, you know, clearing a raid or whatever it was, farming things out. I had the time, but now I don't. So I do have the option of buying a WoW token. I'm not going to get my account banned for buying gold. I can buy a WoW token and just pay for a boost. But what's the point in that? Because it doesn't feel good. I haven't really achieved anything. I've just bought a carry. So what's the point in that? But the problem is that a lot of people do, and then the serious gamers, you know, that really do care about this game and want it to do well, just end up feeling put off and feeling like exactly what I just said. What's the point in putting all this effort in when someone can just buy it and do the exact same thing as me, you know, in 10 minutes? Now, I'm sorry if this video has come across as a bit ranty, but I just wanted to have some real talk and just basically put my thoughts out there about the game currently. And because basically I'm a WoW player, I do love this game, and I'm concerned. I want it to do well. I want Warcraft to get better and be a game that, you know, everyone loves to play. Because if you look at it as a whole, so many people are invested in this game. They love what World of Warcraft is and usually what it has to offer. If Blizzard could just get it right and make World of Warcraft the game that it has the potential to be again, then I'm sure people will be happy to come back and embrace it once again with open arms. But what does getting it right actually mean? So looking at it, you know, in reality, we're probably looking at the next expansion for Warcraft being the big chance for Warcraft to try and redeem itself and come back stronger. The systems that we've got currently in Shadowlands probably can't be removed or drastically improved mid-expansion. That's probably not realistic. So in the next expansion, for example, if we do have to have some kind of borrowed power system, how about making it with the core of its design being to provide engaging gameplay that feels good to do? Make it so it doesn't require us to log in every single day to keep it powered up like the Heart of Azeroth, but good enough of a system that it makes us actually want to log in each day because it's fun to do so. And yes, I acknowledge that finding what is fun for everyone is probably an impossible task because people see different things to be fun, but it's definitely possible to make something more fun than the systems around the Heart of Azeroth and Azerite armor, for example. You know that there's a lot of people out there that care about World of Warcraft and do love it as a game, because time and time again you see people commenting on videos about World of Warcraft that say, I haven't played this game for years but I still enjoy watching content on it. And I bet you if you could make a game that was really good and, you know, just engaging and respected the player's time and that didn't feel like a job, people would come back and try it out. I'm pretty damn sure. Just remember, Blizzard, gameplay first. So there we go, guys, let me know your thoughts. Now, time will tell if World of Warcraft will recover or not, but one thing that is definitely for sure is that Blizzard needs to do better. Thanks for listening, guys. I've been LazyBeast, and I'll catch you next time.